there's so much buzzing going on globally. Coronavirus, lockdown, protests, vaccination, explosions, you name it. How can we turn off this deafening noise?
First, we have to turn off the television. That is the start, right? The television, because we get caught up with what's going on in the world, social media, even the radio, you know, and we don't pay attention to self. They always tell you charity begins at home. So for you to be tuned in, then you have to tune out. You know, if you step out of your home and then you look back and you see like, oh, you're open and to go inside, right? So it's
True,
always
true.
good internal, and this is the problem. And once we undo that, we can't find that.
In other words, you're saying plug out.
Plug out and plug in into you. And I told people that during the lockdown, I said they tell you can't go out, but go in, and people are like, what do you mean go in? Go in where? Go inside, ask yourself questions. You might rub it the wrong way, but you will definitely get some answers. You'll get truth. And there's a thing people always say. People who go on radio, even with loudspeakers, when they say they get a vision, right? No, they spoke to God, but not up in the sky. God always speaks to them internally. So you see
Mm,
that? Everything is
mm,
within.
mm.
It's not out. We
Okay,
look at the external picture, but we have to
that's
look internally,
interesting.
you know. And then you'll see who God is. Then you'll see that the distractions is not necessary. It only become necessary when you give it that energy that you look for. If you don't give it that energy, it can't be necessary. It can't be relevant.
Okay. So, have you ever wondered where the English language originated from?
Well, we were taught that it came from the masters. All language that was given to us came from our masters. Um, so I would be of the same assumption that the English language came from the masters, or maybe even God Himself, because God gave us different languages, right? So I would say the slave master, you know, because we were taught everything from them. So the language can be ours if they taught us. They can teach you something that they don't know. They will teach you something that they know. So they can't go and teach you African language if they don't know it. They will teach you their language, their education, their history.
But then again, we were enslaved by different masters.
Yeah, well, the British call them counterparts or children, or people say America is the only child she had, but I mean, the French, the Dutch, Portuguese, everybody, I mean, it's oneness, with them. They might see things different, but when coming to us, it's just one thing they see. So at the end of the day, call it what you want to call it, but they the one bodies that give the different languages to everybody, because you have one Caribbean, but you have different languages in the Caribbean. And the languages that you speak is because of the people that conquered, as they call it. So yeah.
Okay, so just let's journey into his story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, English, as we know it,
Mm-hmm.
is actually a West German language that
German.
originated from the Anglo-Frisian dialects.
German.
Yes, German,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was brought to Britain in the mid 5th and 7th century AD by the Anglo-Saxons migrants. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
From what is now known as Northwest German, Southern Denmark, and the Netherlands. Now, these people, they settled in the British Isles.
So hold on. So you tell me that English didn't come from the British. It came from Germany.
Yes, right. That's
Okay.
you're gonna find out more, right? Now, these people, they settled in the British Isles, and they came to dominate the bulk of the southern Great Britain. Right? Now, this language is now known as Old English. which greatly influenced another era that we'll find out about, which was called Middle English. Right? So remember,
Yeah,
this
Old
English, the introduction of this English was in the 5th, during the 5th to the 7th century. The 5th to the 7th century. So the 5th, the 6th, the 7th century. Old English, it's old. Right? So you know what we do with old things.
True, don't we?
Right.
So
But we throw it away, but we never forget the experience, right?
Of course
No.
not.
After that era, after that Anglo-Saxon era, the Anglo-Norman, they conquered that part of Britain, right? And that was during 1066, right? And at this time, the language was replaced, right? Or it was influenced greatly by these people, the Anglo-Normans.
So the Germans took over the British?
Don't say the German. Some settlers that came from...
Some, okay,
right?
So they conquered or took over a certain part of Britain?
They came from that aspect of Germany and they settled in Britain, right? The British Isles, okay?
Okay.
You may ask what Britain used to speak before that era.
Yeah, well, you read my mind.
Yes, but that I'm curious also to find out. So we will have to talk about that in another video, you know?
Okay.
Right. Okay, so the Anglo-Norman, they were direct descendants of what they call the Vikings. That they are the ones who invaded and controlled France, right, during those early centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so as you can see, those were the type of people, the ferocious people that just go around conquering people's lands and taking over and bringing their culture and bringing their languages with them, right?
Yeah,
So
I just remember a documentary I was looking at earlier on last week. Well, go ahead.
Right, so that Old English period now was replaced with what they call Middle English. So during the Middle English period, the Normans, they made great changes to the language where they infiltrate the language with their French origins. They brought words from a lot of French words were now introduced into the language, right? So here we have German, right? French, all mixing up. So you see the direction the language is taking.
The English language is confusing language.
Well, you haven't heard confusion as yet. Hold on. Right? Right, and many words that were introduced during this time, you know, relates to the church. You hear words like choir, the court system, right? You hear words like dossier, even government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even government. A lot of the French words were around those three systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, during this time also, a system of orthography was established, right? And it's still in use today. Now, you may ask, what is orthography? Okay?
Yeah,
but it's a set of conventions for writing a language, right? And convention simply mean rules, right? So it's a set of rules for writing a language. And it includes norms of like spelling, hyphenation, capitalization, what we call punctuation, right? Right? Word breaks, emphasis, right? And as I said before, punctuation. So where to put a full stop, where to put a comma, where to put a question mark, where to put an exclamation mark, and how you should stress on the word. All of those were introduced during this mid-English era. And this mid-English era occurred during the 15th century, right? The 15th century.
And when were we enslaved? What century? 14th century? And then, come down, Columbus and came over in 1491?
1492. Alright, so you see, the Old English is what was introduced to the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And those are when all of those barbaric settlers went around the place conquering, right? Okay.
I hope they never taught us that in his story.
Well, we're still learning his story today, so let's see what else we will find out. Okay. Now, so we can see then that all of this orthography, all of these changes, right, all of these foreign influences contributes to the high irregularity of many of the words of use today, right? And yet you will find in the schools, teachers want to beat you, persecute you for spelling.
That's what
When,
putting you on that.
when the rules are so many, right? Because of the
different
different influences, right? So you shouldn't hold anyone accountable if they can't spell a word. Oh, spell the word entrepreneur. You don't know how to spell the word entrepreneur. That it shouldn't matter.
No.
It shouldn't matter because many persons can see words on print and read it, but they can't spell it, and that's okay. That's okay. That doesn't mean that I didn't want to use that word, but that doesn't mean that you're not well learned. Right? That doesn't mean that you're not well learned.
And the teachers love to sit and say this stuff, so that child does.
Right? Yeah, that doesn't mean that you're not well learned. Right? So the what contribute to the modern English, right? Or what they say, the early modern English. What contributed to the early modern English was all of these different conventions, right? These different conventions. So think about English language in this sense. It borrows, right? It borrows from Latin, Ancient Greek, French, German, even the Dutch, right? So see why we have so many contradictions. See why there's so many contradictions, right? Because think about every other people, every other language, they have their conventions. So when I take some of yours and some of yours and some of yours and some of yours and put all together and cook it up and make mine, there are many contradictions, right?
And that's messed up, though.
No, it's not messed up. It's not messed up. I guess as much they just wanted something very flavorful for us. Because English is a very flavorful language, right?
I like that way they put you under a spell with it.
Now, during the 15th century, there was what they call a great vowel shift, right? What does that mean? Right? Now, that vowel shift affected the way you would pronounce the vowels. Right? Prior to that, you had only short vowel sounds, but now you have long and short vowel sounds. So that vowel shift catered for the long vowel sound. So when you have some people would say, you may hear some people say Iraq, right? Some person may say Iraq. Now when you use the vowel's name as the sound of the vowel, that's a long vowel sound. So that's a shift that they took, right?
That's confusion right there.
Right? So if you say Iraq and I say Iraq, who's right, who's wrong?
Somebody
what is the convention there? What is the convention there? Right? And now you would realize that depending on where you're from, you pronounce words differently. Right? You pronounce words differently.
Color.
Right? Now, all of that helps shape what we call the proper modern English. So there's modern English and there's proper modern English.
How much of an English you have then? Because you have Old English.
We have Old English, we have Mid English, and Mid English led up to the modern English, and now we have the proper modern English.
Yeah, okay. So that's four.
Well, it's all English, but it's just the different influences
and
the different changes. It's like the life cycle of a butterfly. Right? So you have the egg stage, you have the larva, well now you have the proper thing. The proper thing is the butterfly.
But from, I mean, the next 50, 100 years, maybe 200 years, and it might change again? We're going to go into a digital age?
Well, who knows? And if we are wrong by then,
that's what they call it, digital age.
If we are wrong by then, we will certainly do a video to follow up on this one.
We would be. We may not be in the consciousness, but in the physical.
It may not be in the physical, but in the consciousness.
What I said?
You said it the other way around.
I said it the other way around. Right. So yeah, because I mean, once you left your mark, then you will always be here. So I would love, what do folks say? Answers bring you to your grave. I would love to hear what that is about. In the next
if it's going to shift.
Yeah.
Maybe we will just shift to an entirely new language. They may call it digital English.
Or is it computer binary code?
No, no. This proper modern English, right? It's very similar in nature to what we speak today because they did all the changes, all the shifting, and all the conventions. They have everything well locked down now, right? Now this English language came to be exported to other parts of the world through British colonization and is now the dominant language. And we even hear that, oh, it's universal, the universal language, right? So when you have all of this infiltrations, you see the reason for our contradictions, right? You see the reason for our contradictions. And this leads me to one such contradiction: oxymorons. Cruel kindness, social distance, new normal. What do all of these have in common? Any idea?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, now these are all known as oxymorons. Now, according to the New Oxford Dictionary, oxymoron is defined as a figure of speech that combines two contradictory ideas. Not so long ago we were talking about contradictions in the English language. Here we are talking about one word having two contradictory ideas. Now, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I am. Because you called us some words a while ago. I definitely see what
Right.
you're doing.
So let's further examine the word oxymoron. Now you would distinctly hear from that big word, the word moron. Oxymoron. We may not know what oxy means, but I'm sure we've heard the word moron before.
Yeah, and that's not a good word.
Right. You see? It's not a good word, but yet we take a oxy and put it with the moron, right? No, that same dictionary, right, defines the word moron as being a very stupid person.
Sorry, baby.
Yeah, sorry, darling,
You
sorry.
got the joke too.
Yeah, that word disturbed you, didn't it? Yes, that word disturbed you, yes. Now, the same dictionary defines moron as a very stupid person. Now, when I check out the roots of oxy, right? Oxy is derived from the Greek word oxus, O-X-U-S, and it means sharp or a rise in sharpness.
The sharp moron.
Right? Or a person that is very sharp in stupidity. Now, if I had invented that word, that would have been the meaning, right? Because you can't take a very stupid person and put them with an ox and then say it's two contradictory ideas. Of course, a person and an ox, right? Anyhow, is there kindness in cruelty?
No, there isn't.
No, there's no kindness in cruelty, right? Neither is there cruelty in kindness, right? What is social about distance?
Well, they tell us socialize. I don't know social. So you
But can you be social and distant at the same time?
If you're social, then you can be distant. You don't be in a collective.
You gotta be close.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we know socializing to be. You can't be social and be distant at the same time.
No.
That's contradiction.
No, they socialize.
Right. Can something be new and normal at the same time?
New, well, if it's new, then it's not normal because then you're introducing something new. It can't be something normal because then you're doing something that you don't know.
Right, and normal is something that you're so
You're used
accustomed
to,
to, you're
yeah.
used to. Very well. Right? Okay. So,
New normal.
new normal. And we've been hearing these terms a lot lately, right? We've been hearing it in the media, right? We've been hearing it right in our homes. We hear our
On the
family
street.
talking about it. Everybody using these terms, not realizing that they're contradicting themselves when they use it. But it's okay because English says it's okay to be contradicting.
Yeah.
Right? And then when someone says something and we don't get them, we want to bite off their heads. Right? Or if someone says something and we're opposing, we have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
We only like contradiction when it's convenient. Right? We like contradiction when it's convenient. Right? There's another one that we hear a lot too. Civil war. What does it mean to be civil?
Peace.
Peaceful, right. So could there be peace in war?
There can be, because I mean, war is nothing about peace.
They're two opposite ideas. Two opposite ideas. Yes. Alright? So, food for thought. Next time you see an ox together with a moron, run.
They don't know what they are fighting for. AKs, SLR, Papa cry, Mama ball.